Hi, this is Vicky of SingleMotherAhoy.com and you're listening to my podcast. Thank you very much. I'm going to start this one with a bit of an apology in advance. Unfortunately, at the moment, we have building sites front and back of this flat. There is nowhere in this flat that is silent. There is a fair amount of banging and clanging and sometimes effing and jeffing. There's not a lot I can do about it, I'm afraid. There's literally nowhere I can stand that's quiet, even the bathroom's noisy. So I apologise if you can hear banging in the background. I know it's not very professional, but there's nothing I can do. Today's podcast is about Facebook and their algorithms and how those algorithms work. Sometimes it's referred to as EdRank, which is what it was known as when it first came out. And when I've said to people this last week that, next week's podcast is going to be about the algorithms, the overwhelming response that I've received is, oh, I hate Facebook. I hate their algorithms. Facebook hates me. Facebook is penalising me. Facebook penalises businesses. Facebook doesn't let anybody see my updates. Nobody sees what I post. It's not worth the hassle. I'm going to close down my Facebook page and go back to a personal page. Or I'm leaving Facebook altogether. It's so rubbish. Nothing ever works. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's wrong. To me, I think you'd be crazy not to be on Facebook if you've got something to promote and you don't have a presence on Facebook. There are billions of users on Facebook. I'm sure it's something like, if it was a country, it'd be the third largest country in the world. If your company or blog doesn't have a presence there, I feel that you're really missing out. It's also worth noting, Facebook are working hard and they're putting a lot of resource into making sure that the accounts they do have live on there are genuine. I know of a few people who have been questioned or had a problem because the name that they tried to enter into Facebook wasn't seen as legitimate. I know someone just last week, her account was suspended for a while because they didn't believe that her name was genuine and she had to scan a copy of her driving licence for them to prove it. So if your name on Facebook is your blog name for your personal account or your business or something like that, they will eventually, they've got billions of accounts to get through, but eventually they're going to get to you. It's worth remembering that Facebook own everything that you put on that site, and they could just decide to delete your account if they don't believe that it's a genuine person behind it, and that could cause you problems. So it's just worth bearing in mind. Anyway, so a bit of history. They set up news feeds originally towards the end of 2006, I think September, October time. And at first you could go in personally and decide what you wanted to see. You could set your own kind of settings for what came onto your news feed. So you could say, I want to see more pictures, I want to see fewer pictures, I want to see more from this person, less from this person. I think it was like a low, medium, high for how much of each person's updates you saw. But things have moved on a lot since then. So November 2007, they brought in pages, and with it came ads and EdRank. The name EdRank comes from the idea that each story or thing that you post on Facebook, so a picture or an update or whatever, is an edge, and they rank those edges. They were using originally 3 main criteria for that, so affinity, weight, and decay. Affinity is, as a user, not as the person posting it, but as a user, how close are they to the person posting that information? Have they liked your stuff in the past? Do they interact with you a lot? Are they seen as quite close to you? Weight is the weight of the actual post. If a post has a lot of comments, it is seen to have more weight. Photos and videos generally have more weight than links, and a comment produces more weight than a like on a post. The third point, decay, is how old is that post, that edge. If it's 2 weeks old, it's most likely it's not going to show up in anybody's newsfeed because it's deemed to be out of date. But 2 minutes old, it's going to be showing up everywhere because it's kind of current. So they've kind of gone through, in the last couple of years, that was 2007 they set up EdRank. In the last few years they've really come along in leaps and bounds, and they've gone from having 3 main criteria to hundreds of thousands of what they call weights. So there are categories and subcategories within those 3 main criteria now, which help them to show what they think people want to see on their news feeds. So a typical user at any given point has 1,500 stories that could populate their news feed on each visit. So what Facebook's algorithms really are trying to do is to whittle that down into how much of that is crap and how much of that is what the person wants to see. So on a much more individual basis, it's going by that individual's previous clicking, where they've liked, where they've commented, who they've interacted with in the past. That's what they show for that person. Somebody that clicks more links is going to see more links on their newsfeed. someone that likes more photos, they're going to see more photos. It's worth something that was kind of a bit of a revelation to me while I was kind of researching all of this stuff, was when I realised that Facebook and EdgeRank, or their algorithms, is not really thinking that it's not thinking about the people writing the posts, whether that's pages or individuals. It's not thinking about them. What it's thinking about is the person standing at the bus stop on his mobile phone scrolling through his newsfeed. They're trying to make Facebook an enjoyable experience for that person. So the algorithms are targeted towards what that person likes, what they enjoy, what they've interacted with before, what they've commented on, what they've liked, topics they're interested in, what have you. And when I kind of realised that, it was a bit of a kind of a light switch moment, because I realised, hang on, we all sit and moan about EdgeRank and algorithms and nobody's seeing our updates. Realistically, Facebook isn't penalising any of us. It's just trying to show that end user something they want to see. And it's highly likely that they don't want to see us advertising our stuff all day, every day, which is what a lot of us do. So that's really something to bear in mind, because what happened was, more recently, Facebook started asking people and listening to what people were saying. And what they were generally saying was, I don't want to see constant adverts from pages on my newsfeed. I want to see what people are up to, what my friends are up to, and all the rest of it. I don't want to see lots of ads. So then they started looking at posts and saying, if a post is kind of quite obviously an ad or some sort of competition, or it's not contextual, then we're not going to show it to people. And they've said, to pages, fine, you can still advertise, but you then have to pay for that advertising, because we want it to be a more organic and natural experience for people to see stuff. Which is why, if all you do is post links to your blog or your business, nobody's going to see them, because nobody's interested in seeing them. Realistically, I know it's hard on your ego, but realistically, people aren't interested in that. They want to have the interaction. It's a very human thing, Facebook. Despite, everybody trying to get around it, I don't think you can get around it. I think it is a human thing, because it's humans using it all day, every day. And the algorithms are getting smarter and smarter every day at sorting that out and sorting through and picking out the bits that aren't genuine. So, two of the things that they've introduced more recently is something called story bumping. So, I know I said before with Decay, if a story's 2 weeks old, then it's not going to be shown. Story bumping overrides that, where it looks at it and says, okay, this story's a couple of days old now, but people are still interacting with it, so it's probably still current and interesting, so we'll keep showing it. So, as an example, last week I posted something about Father's Day, and it went a little bit viral and got over 200,000 views. A lot of that 200,000 views was on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, after Father's Day, but Facebook was still showing it to people because people were still commenting on it and liking it. And there was a bit of an argument going on in the comments section, which actually worked really well for me, for my post reach, because anytime anybody kind of joined in the argument and commented, it meant it was shown to more people, because Facebook just saw that it was, people are still commenting, people are still interested, we'll keep showing that to people. And they also have something called, I think Last Actor, I think it's called, where it looks at a particular user's last 50 interactions and uses that to decide what they should see next, what they need to be shown. So if your last 50 actions were commenting on the same few people, then you're going to see those same few people again and again. If your last 50 actions were on the same Facebook page, you're going to see more from that Facebook page. And so you can see that they're trying to make it so that people sitting at their desks or on their mobiles or wherever see what they want to see. They don't care about the 18 million pages posting whatever they want. We can carry on and post what we want. They're not penalising us. They're just making sure that the end user gets a good experience. And that's really something we all, I think, need to bear in mind when we post something. Is this something that I would genuinely like to see on my newsfeed? Do I find this interesting and engaging? And if the answer is no, probably don't bother, because they're not going to show it to anybody. Other things that they're doing, they're looking at how fast your internet connection is and what kind of device you're on. If you're on an older device that perhaps can't cope with the graphics or what have you, they're not going to show a post like that to you. If your internet connection is really slow and they don't think a video is even going to play properly, they're not going to show you that video. You're not going to see it. That's important for us to bear in mind as content creators, because videos, I've already said, videos carry a lot of weight and they get a lot more likes and comments and shares. But if it's a 10-minute video, nobody's got the time to watch it for 10 minutes, but also people with a slower connection speed, people on their mobiles where it's going to eat their data, they're not going to see it because Facebook's not going to show it to them. The other thing I wanted to cover today is how it actually decides what to show and who to show it to. So you get up in the morning and you write your update, today I'm going to Thorpe Park, send. And you post that on your Facebook page or your personal page, because I believe they both work more or less the same. You post your update and they show it to a small percentage of your friends or fans and watch how they react to it. So obviously it's not a person sitting there, but this algorithm will show it on a few news feeds, usually people that tend to interact with you on a regular basis. It will show it on their news feeds and see what they do. If those people like your post and comment on it, the algorithm thinks, wow, this post must be good quality and interesting, people are interacting with it, and it shows it to more people. If your friends scroll on by because it's nonsense or rubbish or they're not interested, Facebook kind of kills it dead and goes, there's no point showing this to anybody else because clearly it's not interesting. And that's what they do with every single post, every picture, every link, everything, is they show it to a few people and see what they do with it. And if those people interact with it, they show it to a few more people, and then a few more, and then a few more. And that's how you get a post going viral, is that Facebook kind of shows it to more people depending on how many comment on it, like it, share it, what have you. So it's about getting those first initial people engaged as to whether anybody else is going to see it. Right, well, I hope everybody's enjoyed this and found this interesting. I must just put a disclaimer in here to say that everything that I've told you today is things that I've either learned from personal experience or from the internet. And as everybody knows, if you find one story on the internet that says one thing is true, you can find 10 that say the opposite is true. So if you have any genuine sources that say that what I've said is wrong, or you can contradict me with evidence, do please let me know. I do really want to make sure that I'm giving out the correct information. As far as I know, I've given this out in good faith that it is correct. But if it's not, I'd love it if somebody tell me. I'd also love feedback if you found this at all interesting or useful, or if you hate the sound of my voice and wish I would just shut up. Perhaps don't listen to my podcast, but yeah, let me know if you think it's too long. Have a lovely day. I'm going outside to enjoy the sunshine now. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Kiss me, mummy. Kiss me, mummy.